So Brad Semon is with me, and we are continuing on a journey of what's in your refrigerator, what can we make with it. Brad brought over food from his refrigerator and is cooking with us and giving us great ideas.
So what are we gonna do? So more things that everybody has in their pantry is some kind of pasta. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do kind of a lemon chicken with mushrooms and a little bit of scallion. And I'm gonna serve that over a bed of pappardelle. The other thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna garnish that with a little bit of this Italian flat leaf parsley. So really, really easy. So I've got my mushrooms here. I've already got them washed. While my chicken is defrosting, just gonna take a couple of these mushrooms. I've got my pan getting hot, all right? Never put food in a cold pan. It's kind of just a rule. But you also don't want it too blazing hot that anything's gonna burn. Mushrooms. The mistake that everybody makes with mushrooms is that you try to cook too many at a time and you don't give it enough heat. And the secret to great mushrooms is they should actually be cooked with enough heat that the water vaporizes and you get a nice brown hue. Mushrooms actually brown. Again, fairly high heat. I've got these mushrooms, lots of space between them. And so I think a lot of times you'd make chicken and mushrooms, and what do? You cook the chicken, you add the mushrooms, and then you maybe finish them. What you really want to do is get those mushrooms brown first. That way they become an ingredient on the back end of the dish. The other thing that you'll notice I haven't done is I have not started my pasta yet, because I want to get that chicken in the pan before I start the pasta. This pasta is only going to take about 6 minutes. I'm going to put this in Ellen's composting jar.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to give these scallions a quick rinse. So this is a super easy dish, not a lot of ingredients. I got a little different plan than the mushrooms with the onion. And again, I warned you, I would probably use quite a bit of garlic, and this dish is no exception. But really, if you hate it, you don't have to have it. And see what's happening with these? Again, lots of space. It's not a big pile of mushrooms in the pan, but I'm getting that nice brown. Like the mushrooms are just so much more appealing. They have a better mouthfeel, much better, it's intense flavor. I don't want to boil them. I want to sear them. So now I've got my mushrooms, and I'm gonna set these aside, and I'm gonna add these a little bit later. Thank you. Okay, so now, got my pan back on. Pan's hot. Little bit of olive oil, not too much, because I want to finish this sauce with butter, so I may actually be losing a little bit of this oil later. I'm going to take my chicken that has slowly been defrosting. I'm going to dredge it in this flour. Now, when you dredge it in this flour, you probably should, put a little bit of salt and pepper in there, but you can really season while it's after. Ideally, what you'd really want to do before you start the sauce reduction on this is you'd want to pretty much fully cook the chicken, because you don't want to really mess up your crust, but at some point in time, you're going to end up with the sauce and the chicken in this pan. That's just the way this is going to work. Now, eventually the garlic and the scallion is going to also go into this pan with this chicken. My chicken is coming along beautifully, nice brown sear. Now I can tell a little bit, Ellen, that we had talked about, you know, this one had a little bit more frost. I might have to leave it in. but the rest of them are finishing quite well. Now I'm going to bring the temperature down on, I'm going to bring the temperature down on this. And I'm going to add a little bit of unsalted butter. And then I'm going to add mostly my garlic onto that butter while it melts. Okay, so I've given that garlic a head start, and my temperature is down pretty far. And again, I'm just realistically doing this the way you're more likely to do at home. You can see that chicken's got a nice brown on it. I'm letting my scallion and my garlic, and I'm kind of keeping you'll notice I have the pan kind of offset off the burner because I really don't want those onions. I don't want that onion and garlic to take any more heat than it needs. It just chills it down just a little bit. So now's that point in time where I can give this a little bit of pepper. Just a little bit of kosher salt. All right, so now I got this way down low, and this I went way up high. Pasta. So.
Are all pastas cooking the same, or do you have to think about what type of pasta you're cooking?
Definitely have to think about the quality of the pasta, the type of pasta. I honestly will tell you that you should peek at the package directions because, so this pappardelle is a very thin pasta. It's gonna cook very quickly. Sometimes I think it's also about the quality of the pasta. It tends to cook faster, but fat noodles, even like regular fettuccine, linguine, oftentimes they might take 8 or 9 minutes. This stuff is quick.
Really?
And here's the thing about pasta. Number one mistake people make with pasta, this is just water. Nothing else in here right now, okay? So this water is starting to rapidly boil. And I am gonna add to this water, maybe, a pretty good bit of salt.
You do that after the water has been boiled?
After the water has been boiling, which is it's also gonna pop that boil. You're gonna get a little more rapid boil because you're bringing, you're changing the boiling point of that water. But the other thing is, you have to have the salt because the salt is gonna be infused into the pasta. You don't wanna kill it, but you really gotta have some salt in there so the pasta tastes like something.
How about olive oil? Because I've been told to put olive oil in water.
Different thoughts, to tell you the truth, sometimes I will do it, but technically you're not supposed to. The reason you're not supposed to is because what we're doing is, the cooking process on pasta is, I want the water to be absorbed into the pasta, and that's what makes it cook. So when you put oil on the pasta, which is the first thing it hits when it goes into the water, it slows down the absorption of the water into the pasta, which is not what you want. So actually save the oil. You can put it on after, but it's not really doing much for you. You will notice I covered the pot. Sometimes the oil helps that. It keeps the surface temperature, helps bring the water up a little faster. But other than that, it really isn't doing your pasta much good. So, okay, now back to my chicken. So, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon. So, I've got a nice little bottle of Viognier. It's dry, it's minerally. This is a nice little bottle of wine. It's not important that this be an amazing bottle of wine, but I want the characteristics of the wine to add to this chicken. So now I'm deglazing the pan. That's probably about a 1/4 cup of wine. And I'm feeling pretty good right now that this chicken is done. So at this point, I'm gonna take the chicken and just hold it off to the side. Maybe I'm gonna leave this big one in here just a minute longer. Little taboo, I know I'm boiling it. Just wanna make sure it's done. And you can see what's starting to happen here is this sauce is actually starting to thicken all on its own. And I've also got a little bit of chicken stock here. It's actually a little bouillon because we're cooking from the pantry. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of this to the reduction. Not a lot, you gotta be careful of the salt. Now, here's where I want all the heat I can get. Not much else is gonna really happen here. I've got a little bit of Italian flat leaf parsley, which I'm gonna finish this dish with. So I've got lemon, pepper, now here's the fun thing. You notice how as I shake the pan, that is foaming, and this is called an emulsification sauce, which is fairly naturally thickened. And what do you need, and I'm gonna get my mushrooms back in there. And what do you need to finish this sauce is a little bit of cold fat. So back to our unsalted butter thing. I'm just gonna take some of these pieces of butter and I'm gonna break them up. And I don't want melted butter, I want cold pieces of butter. And as I shake that fat is emulsifying into my liquids, and the acidity from the lemon is helping that process. All right, so I guess I gotta taste it. So what I'm looking for when I taste the pasta is I like it pretty firm, and I'm looking in the middle, I wanna see how much white is in there. This pasta is pretty close. So now I'm gonna turn this off. I could strain this, but I probably could really just lift this out. So I've got my chicken breast kind of resting over here.
Should I turn this off?
Yeah, we can turn that off. This is gonna go on the top. Put this off to the side. Gonna give my pan another shake. Got my little spoon. And I'm just gonna lay that over the top of the pasta. Now I want enough sauce so that the pasta is coated but not drenched. And this Italian flat leaf parsley is just gonna give me a nice little fresh foil, especially with the lemon.
And this is called?
It's chicken with lemon and mushrooms. I was called a modified piccata.
Very easily something you could have in your refrigerator, and any kind of pasta you have, chicken, mushrooms, lemon, garlic, great.
Super easy, tasty.
Thank you.
The quick one.
Love it.